Welcome to Jewels of the Trade. Last week, we compared side-by-side examples of lavender jade cabochons to demonstrate the correlation between value and quality in loose jade stones. This week, we'll be examining green jadeite jade cabochons side by side and discussing jade quality factors and green jade pricing. Be sure to leave all of your questions about jade in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this after the fact. Jade is a trade term that gemologically refers to two different gemstones, nephrite jade and jadeite jade, also known as fei choi. Nephrite jade and jadeite jade are both incredibly tough. They can both be green as well as other colors, and both have historical significance to cultures all over the world. Today, we're focusing on jadeite jade. All of the stones we're looking at today are natural jade, also known as A jade. A jade has no treatment except for possibly a beeswax coating that is not visible, not permanent, and does not affect the value of the stone. B jade and B plus C jade are genuine treated jades that have been heavily treated, but it can be very difficult to detect. A huge thank you to Mason K. Jade for providing these stones for this video. A link to their website is in the video description. Be sure to use the discount code JOTT, J-O-T-T, if you make a purchase. This gives you an additional 10% off on top of other discounts and helps support this channel. If you're watching this after the fact, be sure to check out the timestamps in the video description, and don't forget to join the Jewels of the Trade Discord to share photos of your jade collection with other jade enthusiasts. I also have other videos comparing jade quality, including qualities of lavender, yellow, and red jadeite jade. The link is in the description. We're going to work our way up in quality today, starting with this light green jade stone. Oval shape, 12 by 16 millimeter for only $135. If you're watching this live, say hi in the chat and be ready to guess prices when we get up into the finer qualities. Jade is not priced per carat. Jade stones are priced individually according to their quality factors, translucency, color, and texture. Color is assessed based on hue, tone, and saturation, and cut, shape, and size affect value as well. This is a great example of how jadeite jade can be affordable, but green jade cabochons in this price range are going to be light colored if natural. So if you see a translucent, vivid, like super high translucency green jade cab close to this size selling for the same price, that stone is likely a treated jade or a jade simulant such as dyed green quartz. I'm including links to videos about jade treatments and simulants in the description in case you would like to learn more. Let's compare our $135 stone to a slightly larger stone. The stone on the left is calibrated, meaning it's a common and exact proportion seen in gemstones. Jade is usually not calibrated, as the stone on the right isn't, being slightly larger and priced a little higher even though it's close in color. Green is the highest valued color of jadeite jade, but not all green jade is valuable. For instance, both of these stones are inexpensive, and as you can see, they're both light colored green, but the stone on the right does have more saturation comparatively. The value of saturation will be better demonstrated as we continue to go up in quality throughout this video. This jade stone has better saturation and tone than the previous two. It's a little bit smaller, but more valuable at $720 because of its light apple color. Let's take a look at some other jade colors in the same price range to see how green compares. Both of these stones are under $1,000 and fairly close in price, with the more valuable stone being longer and weighing more. There is no international grading system for colored gemstones. So, with most colored gems, jade included, the price is determined by the expertise of the seller, and the value is the price as agreed on by the seller and the customer. And I think it's important to mention that jade value sort of has to be like clarified. When you ask, what is my jade worth? Well, you have retail replacement value, which is the value of a jade stone purchased from a trustworthy retailer. So this would be a store that you're confident in, that you believe what they say, you know that they've given it a good examination, that they can warn you if there's any fractures or any issues with it, that it's been tested, that they can offer a warranty and even like repairs on your jewelry. You're probably going to pay a lot more for that whole experience if you're shopping from a jewelry store than if you were to buy, say, secondhand, which is what we call resale value. a customer is not going to want to spend as much secondhand on jade because they don't have the trust that it is what the seller says that it is. They might not be sure if there's damage to it or where, if it's in poor condition, if it's natural. And also, a secondhand seller can't offer things like a warranty or repairs long term. So, a customer often is going to prefer, first of all, to pay retail replacement value and get it from a jewelry store. And so, resellers or like secondhand sellers, like if you have a piece that you've inherited that you're wanting to sell, you're going to have to offer a competitive price to get like a Facebook marketplace shopper or, just somebody that to want to buy it. So let's take a look at the chat. Hi, everybody, two genders. Welcome. Hi to all jade lovers. Mason K is here. If you guys have questions for the experts, they are in the chat. Very exciting. Hello, Chris and Jeff. Oh, Alex is here. Hi, guys. I made it on time tonight. We're so glad to have you. Ooh, do we trust assert from Stone Group Laboratories? That sounds very familiar. Mason K, can you answer this question? I'm trying to place who Stone Group Laboratories is. There are so many labs, and sometimes I have a moment where I just can't remember who everybody is. In the meantime, let's take a look at this stone. So we're still under $1,000 here. I would also consider this a light apple color. Unfortunately, apple green encompasses a huge range of jade color from relatively inexpensive to fine. Jade terminology can certainly be confusing, which is why it's important to lean on the expertise of a trustworthy seller. And of course, it always helps to see the stone in person before you buy, which is why I often recommend shopping with a local, independent jewelry store. Okay, I tried to find a similarly priced lavender jade stone to the green stone, and I thought this was a pretty good example. There's not that much of a price difference between these two. I would say these are on a fairly similar level of quality, but in different colors, with the green stone being light in color, mottled in texture. The stones are somewhat close in size, but not proportion. But the lavender jade stone has a smoky gray tone, which I think looks amazing, especially for men, but it's not considered as desirable, so it tends to be priced more affordably than even a lighter saturation with better tone. These stones are much less valuable, but so pretty. So you can see here that if you go with a less popular color like yellow, you can actually get better translucency for a lower price. If the stone is available, it is jade, so it can still be hard to find. Keep that in mind. What do you think, chat? Would you choose an unusual color so that you can get better translucency for the amount you're spending? Or is color your number one priority? The two red jade stones on the right, also featured in a previous live video, are not poor quality. They're just less popular as a color than, say, green, lavender, or ice. This is why we say green is the most valuable color of jadeite jade. It's not that all green jade is expensive, but all other quality factors being equal, a green jade stone will cost more than another color because of just how desirable green is. Let's check the chat and see what everybody is saying. Do you prefer color or translucency when you're shopping? Let me know. Okay, Mason K says, yes, we trust Stone Group Labs. So there you go. That's the answer to the question in the chat. And then, Two Gender says, if you show an A-Jade ring to 10 different jewelers, would their pricing be in the same ballpark? I think it's really important to mention that some jewelry stores don't necessarily specialize in jade. That doesn't mean they're not qualified to sell it, but often we see retail jewelers, if they don't sell a lot of jade, if they don't specialize in it, if it's not something that they necessarily stock in their store, they often lean on the expertise of suppliers like Mason K. So there's not really a straightforward answer to that question, but it is a great question. David Adams says, thank you, Mason K, and also prefers translucency to color. Ultimatum also prefers translucency. I'm with you guys. I think translucency is sometimes more important than color. So let's go ahead and move on. We are over $1,000 now. This stone is noticeably green, has a fantastic luster. It's not very translucent, But if you shined a light through it, the light would fill the stone and definitely come out the other side. So in that sense, it technically is translucent according to science, but in the context of gemological standards for fine jewelry, it's not super translucent. And you want to take this opportunity to just kind of warn against sellers that overuse the pen light. The pen light is a very important tool, especially for online jade selling, because it shows if there are any fractures in the stone. And yes, it does demonstrate translucency. However, shining like a high-powered light close to a jade stone might actually exaggerate the translucency, and some sellers are going to try to ask a higher price because of that. It's certainly not dishonest for sellers to use pen lights in their selling technique, but just be aware that the translucency shown under a pen light might be exaggerated compared to how it would look in real life. This is the difference between a $100 stone and a $1,000 stone. Color. The stone on the right is much greener. And I will say, it really does look better in person. Jade never quite looks the same on camera. And that stone actually reminds me a lot. I know a lot of you guys have seen my ring that I wear a lot, and I featured it in many videos. And this stone here on the right, it has a very similar presence to my stone. So I have quite an affinity for it. I think it's really, really a beautiful stone. And I honestly don't think the camera captures that well. It genuinely just looks better in person. Okay, bam! We've over doubled in price here. Because of the tone, I would call this color moss green. That's not the technical term. That's just what I call it. Very gender neutral and a great size for a man or a woman. It's darker than what we've been looking at, which to an extent is very desirable in jade. Obviously, there's like a sweet spot or a range of dark green jade that is desirable, and then eventually it gets too dark, and beyond that, dark green jade just becomes black jade. Yum! How good would these two stones look together? I know that's not the point of this clip, but it's just really distracting. I picked this lavender jade because I wanted to find something kind of close in price. I know they're not that close, but they're both between $2,500 and $3,500. So they're both nice stones without being terribly expensive. These are both around the price you're probably looking for if you're shopping for a jade engagement ring. So this begs the question, if you have $3,500 to spend on jade, do you go with green or lavender? Let me know in the chat. Let's see what everybody's saying. Alex loves both color and translucency. I just love it all. I just love jade. Anything jade related is great. Ooh, this is a great point. Oh my gosh. Yes, two genders. This is so right. It's better to use sunlight as a test for translucency. I would say yes, because really translucency is how light goes through material and comes out the other side. So if you have like an object behind the jade and you move that object behind the jade and you can like see through the stone that there's an object there and that it's moving, that's a good indicator of translucency. And yes, being outdoors in sunlight is a really, really, really great way to see that without like overexposing it with a pen light. Excellent suggestion. Beautiful, like a juicy jelly bean. I strongly agree. Strongly agree. All right, let's go ahead and, it's time for price guessing. Actually, hold on. Before we get into the price guessing, let's go ahead. I want to show you what this stone looks like in real life. So the stone that we just, in real life, the stone that we just looked at is this one. Really great size, really beautiful. See what I mean? Like more beautiful color. This is still on camera, but you know what I mean? Like this isn't like studio lighting. This is just like regular lighting. And then the one that we're about to look at is so vivid. So beautiful. Look at that. So like from afar, I feel like you can tell pretty easily like just how different these two stones are. So let's go ahead and take a look up close. I didn't let you guess the price. Hold on. You didn't see that. Take a look at this one. Pretend you didn't see the price and give me your price guesses in the chat. This is a 6 carat, 12 by 17 by 3 millimeter. This is not the finest stone in the batch, and it's not the second finest stone, but this is one of my favorite jades in the whole batch. At best, it's my second favorite because the finest stone is redonkulous. You guys are going to see it in a minute. So I kind of ruined it because I already showed the price. So I'm going to go ahead and reveal the price now. Huge difference here between these two stones. Even though the 17-karat stone is bigger, the 6-karat stone has noticeably better color. It's richer and more lively, having better saturation and significantly better tone, meaning it's less gray. It's just more vibrant. It looks a lot better in person too. Neither one of these look as good here as they do in real life. Which one do you prefer? Do you like the really vivid color, even though this stone is very thin, which is actually why it's not more expensive than it is. So it's a good thing. So you're getting a really amazing color for a low price with this stone. And it's the only one Mason K has that's like it. And keep in mind, they're the largest wholesale supplier of natural jadeite jade in the country. So, and they only have one stone like this. So if you do want to buy it, I would jump on this and reach out to Chris at Mason K. Her contact info is on the screen. This stone is not on the website right now, so you can't just add to cart, but that's good because you're going to want to chat with Chris and maybe see videos of it in different lighting. It's better if you email or call and have a conversation when you're spending this much money. You don't want to feel pressured to buy. You are never bothering Mason K by calling them. That's why they have an office in Colorado. It's what they're there for, to help you find the right stone for you. So definitely reach out to her if you are interested because, like I said, this is the only one like it. Ooh. Oh, I love this stone. Drop your price guesses in the chat for real this time. Actually guess the price. I'm not going to reveal it too soon. I promise. I'm going to give you a hint. We've jumped up a lot in price. This is the second finest stone in the video. So this is a big jump up from the last stone price. And then the finest stone is going to be like a huge jump up from this stone in price. Notice here that the stone on the right looks smaller, but it weighs more. This is what we were talking about earlier. Look at the thickness. The stone on the left is 3 millimeters. The stone on the right is almost double that at 5.9 millimeters thick. So the proportions on the stone on the right are much more desirable. It's not going to be as flat. It's not going to sit as low in a ring. Do we have any price guesses for the stone on the right? $5,500. I think it's higher than that. Oh yeah, it's higher than that. Any other guesses for the stone on the right? It is definitely more, but we've jumped up quite a bit in value. I'm going to go ahead and reveal $8,100 for this stone. Such a beaut. But you might be wondering, like, why is it so much more than the other stone? They're both so beautiful. What's the big difference that makes this so valuable? It's this right here. Side by side, you can really see the difference in these two stones. Yes, the left stone has a great color. There's no doubt about it. But it was cut thin because the boulder didn't allow for that cab to be made thicker. The goal is to retain as much weight as possible to give it that internal glow, that depth, the three-dimensional presence that says this is a high-quality stone. Let's see what the chat has to say. Great guesses. 9,000. Yes. 75.50. Great guesses. Excellent. That price is 8,100. So yes, you guys are definitely getting a feel for, I mean, you guys, you know a lot about jade. You guys really have a feel for the pricing. And yeah, I mean, you can definitely see that it's a beautiful, one of a kind, very valuable stone. If someone buys a cab from Mason K, does Mason K make the ring or do they have to take it to another jeweler? So Mason K does design a lot of the pieces in their inventory. When you buy a loose jade stone from Mason K, you can have it like set at your local independent jeweler. And in fact, we recommend that because then you get the hands-on experience and the back and forth. In some cases, depending on what it is, and Mason K, feel free to chip in here. In some cases, Mason K can have a mounting manufactured for you, but we do recommend seeing your local independent jeweler. That way, you know, if they're doing a custom CAD and they're 3D printing the wax, you can try it on. You can kind of get a feel for it before it's made and finalized. It's typically a way for you, the customer, to have a lot more control over the final product. So we do recommend visiting your local independent jeweler. And of course, on the Mason K website, we have a list of trustworthy jewelers that Mason K works with. So feel free to check that out. The link is in the description. Mason K says the $8,100 stone is more translucent as well. Yes. And I think you can tell. Let's see. Let's make the video start over. There we go. I think you can tell right here that it has better translucency. There's better light coming through it. It is so hard to tell on camera, but definitely more apparent in real life. Okay. Are you guys ready to see like the fine, like the really fine stone? Are you ready? I can't hear you if you're talking back to me, so I'm just going to show it. If you buy this and mention my name, I will be so grateful. You have no idea. You can tell we've catapulted forward in price, way over $10,000. So here's your hint. It's more than $10,000, but less than $100,000. 3, 2, 1, go. Drop your price guesses in the chat. I cannot wait to see what you guess. Is anyone in the chat or comments an appraiser? If so, do you find these videos helpful for you? Obviously, I want to empower customers to make strategic buying decisions and be confident in assessing jade value when they go to buy, no matter who they buy from. But also, I do hope this reaches some people in the trade. So let me know if you're here and if you're a part of the jewelry industry. This stone was really hard to capture, but I think you can still tell. This stone is big. It's over 12 karat, fine apple green color, juicy translucency, great cut, greasy buttery luster, and very noticeably incredible texture, which I think really sets this stone apart from the other stone. Well, a lot of things. Everything sets this stone apart. This is truly a rare gem. It's not imperial, but it's rare. So I don't know if you can really tell on my iPhone camera. It has a huge presence. This is a stone you would definitely see across the room. It has just incredible, like right now, I can see through the stone. You can't see it, but from where I am, I can see literally through the stone. Fantastic translucency, really incredible glow and color. This makes me emotional. Okay, did you guys guess the price? Let's see what you have to say. Oh, you guys are getting real specific. David Adams guessed $22,000. Duke Dirty Work guessed $30,000. Norman guessed $22,700. Alex guessed $21,750. Oh my goodness. Okay, are we ready? Is it time? Is it time for the price reveal? Okay, let's go ahead and show. Be honest. If you're looking to spend $45,000 on a fine heirloom quality gemstone to wear every day and pass down, can you imagine seeing this and then buying a stone that isn't jade? Jade reaches a level, in my opinion, where it just blows other gems out of the water. I would rather have a $45,000 jade than a $45,000 diamond. No contest. Absolutely no doubt. What do you guys think? Would you rather have a $45,000 jade stone or a $45,000 diamond? A $45,000 anything else? Really? After seeing something like this, I want to hear your thoughts. How gorgeous is this stone? And like I said, it's really hard to capture it on camera. This genuinely does look better in person. So I'm sorry for that. That is universally true of jade, just so you guys know. When you are shopping for jade online, I do recommend always asking to see it in various lighting environments, in darker lighting, in brighter lighting, like just under fluorescence, because it is very, very hard. The way that light interacts with jade, it is very difficult to tell what it's going to look like on camera. Duke's Dirty Work would prefer jadeite jade to a diamond. Two Genders prefers a jade stone. Norman says, big wow on that one. Beautiful stone. I know. Nathan, you're here. It's so great to have you. I'm so happy that you're here. We're looking at a $45,000 jade stone right now, and we're all just melting. Alex would also prefer to have a $45,000 jade stone over a diamond. I strongly agree. So let's go ahead and I wanted to show you this first before we move on. It feels mean to show the $8,000 stone next to the $45,000 stone. They're both so beautiful, but the 12 karat is just unreal. The texture difference is significant. The color has much more life in the 12 karat. It's really amazing. It's really amazing. Nathan says, I'll take two. Why not? Gift wrap them. Just send them my way. Absolutely. Pawan, the complexion and look of diamond can be imitated from moissanite, sapphires, topaz, and even glass, but jade has its own beauty, so I prefer the jade stone. Well said, Pawan. Thank you for that comment. That is fantastic. I absolutely agree. Okay, so I want to give you guys like a little bit of a sneak peek for my next live video, but first I have some jade questions that I've been getting that I want to make sure that I answer. So the first question, what makes jade green? Jadeite, the mineral, is allochromatic. So without any like additional chemical elements, it's going to be colorless, like ice jade. So it's really the addition of these elements that give it different colors. In the case of green, jadeite is colored by chromium and iron. In the case of lavender, it's colored by manganese and titanium. Manganese or titanium, I should say. And for green, it's chromium or iron. Sometimes it could be both, but I should say or anyways. How do I tell if jade is real? I have a ton of videos on this channel answering that question. I highly encourage you to check them out. So basically, if it's a simulant, there are certain simulants that are going to have a look to them, and you can learn how to identify that. If it's a really good simulant, like dyed green quartz, you might want to rely on the expertise of your local independent jeweler. They usually have the testing methods to distinguish between quartz and jadeite jade. However, more important than the question, is my jade real, is my jade natural or treated? Now, this, of course, only applies to jadeite jade. You don't have to worry about your nephrite jade. But in the case of jadeite jade, detecting treatment is very tricky. So this actually requires what we call advanced gemological testing, meaning that a normal jewelry store is not going to have the tools to identify the like obscure treatments. I guess they're not obscure. The common treatments in jadeite jade, such as polymer, resin, and wax impregnation, where it's actually been inserted into the stone. For this, you can just send your jade into Makes and K, and they can test it for you. Why is green jade expensive? Desire, that's the reason. Green is the highest valued color of jadeite jade. And in the case of nephrite jade, the highest valued color is actually white. Does green jade glow? There are many ways to interpret this question. So what some people mean by this, they're asking, does green jade fluoresce? So fluorescence is when a gemstone will like sort of glow in a different color under a UV light. Now, jadeite jade can have slight fluorescence, and the beeswax coating on it can also have slight fluorescence. But when you see green jadeite jade or any color of jadeite jade glow really vividly or fluoresce really vividly under a UV light, that's a bad sign. That probably means that it's treated. So the fluorescence should not be vivid under a black light in jadeite jade. However, treated jades don't always fluoresce. So I don't recommend the UV light as a reliable way to test your jade at home, because chances are it could be treated and not fluoresce, and that's going to give you the wrong impression about the treatment of your jade. What is the rarest color of jade? So the best way to answer this is to explain that the rarest color of a high quality of jade, so the rarest like fine color of jade, the rarest like imperial, you could say, color of jade, is, in the case of jadeite jade, really probably red. It is very, very, very rare to come across a true, not orange, a true red jade stone. And I do talk about this more in my video on red jadeite jade. Does green jade break easily? So there is actually no connection between color and durability. Toughness, which is resistance to breaking, does have a connection, however, with translucency, because translucency is a result of the crystal structure of the jade. So, or the microstructure is how I should say. So like the compactness of the crystals in the jade that make up the jade. So the higher translucent a jade stone is, in all likelihood, given that it's not fractured and given that it's not treated, the more durable it will be. So color does not have to do with it, but translucency does. Can green jade get wet? Yes. Yes, it can. However, you don't necessarily want to put your jade jewelry in an ultrasonic. This is because typically jade cabochons are glued in to rings and pendants, and the moisture from the ultrasonic can actually soften that glue and dislodge the jade stone. Additionally, lots of jadeite jade is coated with a thin beeswax coating, and putting it in the ultrasonic might remove that coating. What are other names for jade? So I think the internet has made jade terminology even more confusing than it was in the first place. I do want to announce that Lotus Gemology has just dropped a new book. I believe it's called Broken Bangle, and it directly addresses the complicated nature of jade nomenclature. And I'm so excited to read it. I wanted to let you guys know so that you can rush to lotusgemology.com and order the book for yourself. Something that should be noted in this topic is that the term fei choi means jadeite jade, and you will see that a lot on the internet when you're researching jade. Fei choi and jadeite jade are synonymous. So fei choi is the Chinese word for jadeite jade, and it actually refers to pyroxene jade that is principally comprised of one or any combination of the following of these: jadeite jade, omphacite jade, and cosmochlor jade. So fei choi is a word that you'll hear a lot. That means jadeite jade. Yu is a word that you'll hear a lot. Yu, it's a Chinese word for nephrite, but it can also mean beautiful stone. So you will see sellers referring to quartz, serpentine, and other simulants as Yu. My recommendation is don't get too caught up in all of the wild names for jade. What you need to really make sure before you shop from a seller is it jadeite jade or nephrite jade? Because if the answer is no, then they can call it Transvaal jade or Korean jade or Australian jade or whatever it is that they want to call it. And it's really not, right? It's not jadeite jade or nephrite jade if it's not jadeite jade or nephrite jade, right? Words have to have meaning. And then also, is it natural or is it treated? So is it guaranteed A jade? Has the seller tested it? Can they offer some sort of report from GIA, AGL, Mason K, some sort of reputable lab or seller? And so don't get too caught up in the different names. Just make sure that it's either nephrite jade or jadeite jade and that it is natural and not treated. So I hope that answers that question. Let's take a look at the chat. Can jade be kind of splotchy if it's lower quality? Yes. So jade is an aggregate. So it's a rock. So you have a whole bunch of crystals that have kind of like forged together metamorphically over time. And yes, you will have lighter colored crystals mixed with darker colored crystals. And that usually gives the appearance of what we call like splotchy or mottled. Did you know that jade artifacts have also been discovered in India? I did not. That's very interesting, and I would like to learn more about that. That sounds awesome. All right, it's time for the sneak peek that I promised you guys. Do you guys want to see some Guatemalan jade on this channel? Let me know in the comments. And if you want Guatemalan jade from your collection to be featured in a live video upcoming about Guatemalan jade, be sure to join the Jewels of the Trade Discord and share your videos in the For YouTube channel. The link is in the description.